Marcellus, you're the expert here. Is Myles Garrett worth $25 million a year?
Absolutely. He's worth it. We're talking about not only his production, his potential, and then you also have to map on the calendar in terms of when this deal may be struck. It could be an extension and it may not be an extension, but think about it. They already picked up his fifth-year option, so we have 2 more years, potentially even franchise situations. But 2+ years, you will see Myles Garrett be a guy who eclipses $25 million annually. And let's talk about his production, because I think a lot of times it gets lost in terms of what a defensive lineman is being on the field in terms of grade. In our D-line room, we used to always have this thing called sack rate. Coach basically wanted to know, if you started a game, what's the percentage chance you're going to sack the quarterback? Do you know where Myles Garrett is right now? 87% of the time. That's high. To give you some reference, Bruce Smith, career, 75%. Now, obviously, these numbers are skewed. When you play longer, typically your sack rate decreases. But you talk about guys like Strahan, 69%. You talk about guys now like Chandler Jones, 83%. And you got Myles Garrett at 87%. Almost every game that he starts, he's bringing that quarterback down. And they know that. Yes, he's had injuries. Yes, he had a suspension. But, boy, does he have off-the-chart ability and production when you look at when he goes out there, what comes in terms of that production. He's going to get that $25 million, and I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I'm saying yes as well. I think my reasoning is different. It's based upon the consistency of what I've been saying when I discuss matters around Dak Prescott or any other player that is seeking to get a high contract, which is you are worth what your employer is willing to value you at. You put a number out there. If Myles Garrett's people are putting a number out there and that number is agreed upon by his employer, then the distinct relationship between the employer and the employee is saying that once we sign on this dotted line, our name's dry, the ink is dry, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. You're saying the agreement and the relationship between you, the employee, and you, the employer, says that this is my value to this company. So to me, if the Cleveland Browns, within their room of negotiations and their brain trust, their round table of decision makers, say that they see a value in Myles Garrett where they're going to make him the highest paid pass rusher.
I don't want the Browns' position. Well, I want your position, LaVar. Is he worth $25 million? I don't care about the Browns.
100%. But you have to care because that's where the $25 million is coming from. So if he's worth 25, he's worth 25 to me. He's worth 25 to me if $25 million is coming from the bank account of the Cleveland Browns. If the Cleveland Browns ain't paying it, then we don't have to care about it.
Right.
But it's going to be the Cleveland Browns that pay.
Is he going to produce at a $25 million pace? Is he the best pass rusher in the NFL?
The problem with what you're saying is that you're basing the parameters of him getting $25 million off of what you think he's going to produce on the field. It is the value of what the Cleveland Browns believe him or perceive him to be as to why he's going to get that $25 million. People have been highest paid that have not been productive guys and still get paid. Odell Beckham has gotten paid. He hasn't been the highest productive type of guy, but he was valued enough to get the pay that he was able to get.
Yeah, at one point, the Seattle Seahawks valued Matt Flynn at whatever ridiculous rate that it was. And people like me went on TV and said, hey, man, that's ridiculous. He ain't worth that. He didn't do enough in his previous job to justify that amount of money. That's the discussion we're having about Myles Garrett. I think Marcellus made a pretty good argument about his sack rate. And even look, I'm a critic of Myles Garrett. I think he's a flake and a goofball. I don't trust him character-wise in the locker room. But in terms of when you put that film on in a game, does he get to the quarterback? And I understand how important it is to get to the quarterback. And this guy does it consistently when he's available. Would I pay him this money? No, because I question his character. Will he be able to stay on the field in terms of doing dumb things that get him into trouble? He's like a different version of Vontaze Burfict. Vontaze Burfict does a lot of stuff out of malice and stupidity that gets him into trouble. Myles Garrett does things out of stupidity to get him into trouble on the field and could have more suspensions. But as a pure pass rusher, is he arguably the best one going in the NFL right now? Had he not been suspended last year, would that have been crystal clear with him probably having 16 sacks for the season? Probably. But to me, the character issues kind of say I would proceed with caution. And before I'd start talking about giving this dude some kind of major payday, I need to see one full year of this dude go through the NFL without any controversy, without anything that distracts from the team, without anything that hurts the team.
Yeah, I mean, look, what you're talking about, I'm glad we could now hone our focus into. When you get on the field, what the hell are you doing? And only Shaq Barrett I've seen and Chandler Jones of recent memory is doing what Myles Garrett is doing. And part of that is availability. But in terms of, like, Shaq Barrett has 108%. That means not only is he going to get on the field and get one sack, he's going to be coming close to getting his second sack in most games. And that's a high click rate when you're talking about these guys. And just to throw in a little love for you guys, Myles Garrett has started 35 games and already has 38.5 sacks. 30.5 sacks in 35 games. You know how many sacks I had in my first 35 starts? 34. Just letting y'all know I should have got paid a long time ago, brother. Just letting y'all know how your boy did it. It was a real thing.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.